Hello, feeling nostalgic today because it is the 20th anniversary, which is wild. 20 years ago, I'm 24. 20 years ago, Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy came out. I didn't play it when I was 4, I guess. I played it when I was younger, but it was a very influential game for me. I love Jak and Daxter. I love the trilogy. I just wanted to say a few words on Jak and Daxter on this day of their anniversary. It's kind of a bittersweet day because, like, yeah, PlayStation's tweeting fun little CRT videos about it. Naughty Dog actually released the initial teaser for Jak and Daxter, which is very cool. I love that it's in its original quality. It's just very nostalgic seeing an ad like this. But Jak and Daxter, to me, has always been very core to the PlayStation image. What I love about PlayStation, and yes, the series with Jak 2, Jak 3 was very juvenile at times, putting it mildly, but I think there was an edginess that was fun to PlayStation for a long time, actually. Like, Ratchet and Clank also carried this up until the PS3 generation kind of eased up on that, and then from what I've seen of the PS5 game, it seems they've leaned into that more family-friendly Ratchet and Clank. And Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, is the one that is a bit more entry-level for a wider audience. Yes, there are some moments that are a bit crude and crass, but it is a game about two friends hanging out, going about doing their stuff. It's a 3D platformer, and I love 3D platformers. 3D platformers are like maybe my favorite genre, and Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, is maybe one of the best I've played. It is one of the best I've played. It's like the only ones that come to mind that I'd put above it right now are maybe Mario 64, but I like that this does more of an attitude thing. It's probably a better game, probably. Maybe Psychonauts, because I think Psychonauts is a great 3D platformer that deals with its story better. But Jak and Daxter, from a raw gameplay perspective, I think plays better than Psychonauts and many other platformers. And the reason I say it's bittersweet and sad is because it's just a reminder that this era of game, to a degree, but this era of PlayStation is kind of dead, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's kind of just a sad thing for me, because Jak and Daxter, the old school Ratchet and Clanks, those games don't really have a place with modern PlayStation and their ambitions right now. Specifically, I guess Naughty Dog, because Naughty Dog is pushing that dramatic, grounded, with the exception of like Last of Us' setting. But, you know, it's a story about human nature, you know, and Jak and Daxter doesn't really explore that. Jak and Daxter is much more a fantasy romp, and it's maybe nostalgia speaking, but I do think Jak and Daxter is core to why PlayStation is PlayStation today. I recently replayed Jak 3. Jak 3 was the last normal Jak game, or normal game that wasn't a combat racer, that Naughty Dog made before Uncharted 1. There's a lot of Uncharted in Jak 3. So much so that I've even seen Naughty Dog devs today talking about this franchise and what it means to the studio. Jak and Daxter is incredibly important, and it all goes back to the Precursor Legacy. So in 2021, what does Jak and Daxter mean for PlayStation? It means a day you got a tweet, I think. Unfortunately. I know there was a cameo, like, side thing in Rift Apart, which is fun. Jak and Daxter popped up, I think, in Astro's Playroom, but it's painful, because I see Jak and Daxter, I see that legacy of PlayStation, I see a world where it could work modern day, but I don't know if it would go to Naughty Dog, similar to Sly Cooper, which left Sucker Punch. I could see Jak and Daxter be taken up by another studio. Who that would be, I don't know. Personally, if I had to make a pick, I think Bluepoint would do a great job with this. Bluepoint does fantastic work on remasters. They've done, I think they did the Jak and Daxter PS3 collection, which was maybe the best version to play those games. Way better than the PS2 to PS4 versions. But I think a Bluepoint reboot, there's a lot of talk of Bluepoint just tackling their own new game. I think Jak and Daxter would be a good fit for them, because I don't think it's hard to capture what made Jak and Daxter Jak and Daxter. I think the only reason we don't see them anymore is because Naughty Dog has other interests, which is fine. But there is a value to Jak and Daxter that a lot of people hold these characters in these games close to their heart. And similar to Sly Cooper, which I don't know if you can see on the shelf. Sly Cooper, big fan of Sly. While Sly 2 might be one of my favorite games of all time, I think the Jak and Daxter trilogy is maybe one of the most consistent trilogies PlayStation's ever done. And it's a shame that they've been dormant for so long, especially when we see, Ratchet be able to continue. But yeah, on this day of remembrance, it's just a moment, It's just, you think back to opening up the Precursor Legacy disc, popping it in, you hear like, it's a great game. It's a really fun world, and especially after 3, there's a lot that can be done with Jak and Daxter in a modern setting that doesn't need to be grounded and gritty and realistic the way that initial concept for Jak 4 shaped up to be. So, is Jak and Daxter dead? Yes. Is it coming back anytime soon? I'm not holding my breath. But 20 years, great memories. If you've never played Jak and Daxter before, if you came onto PlayStation from PS3 onward, PS4, 5, anything, if you're very young and you didn't know that Naughty Dog made a game called Jak and Daxter, Jak and Daxter, the entire trilogy, I can recommend. The PS4 versions aren't the best way to play them. They're the most accessible right now, but the Precursor Legacy is probably the best running out of the 3, so I can easily recommend the Precursor Legacy. I still think that's the best one in the trilogy, and that's the anniversary we're celebrating today. So Jak and Daxter Precursor Legacy, incredible 3D platformer, very funny, technically ridiculously impressive for being a PS2 game. Same with Jak 2 and 3. There's some stuff in there that I'm just shocked. They got a massive open world with no loading screens to work on the PS2. But yeah, I can recommend Precursor Legacy. It's very fun to 100%. I've gotten the Platinum twice. It's a great game. And Jak and Daxter, I miss you dearly. I hope to see you return one day properly. We don't need a gritty, realistic reboot. I think PlayStation has room for having those more fun, edgy, kind of like modern edgy. It doesn't have to be like, bro. The way that Jak 2 and 3 kind of were at times. But there's room for this, is what I'm saying, in the PlayStation lineup. And Jak and Daxter, I think, would be a great way to bring that back, where Ratchet and Clank seems to have found a new identity for itself. Jak and Daxter, baby. Bring it back. You know what? I'm probably actually going to hop into Precursor Legacy tonight, just to mess around with it for a little bit, because that game, like I said, is a joy to play. But if you're curious for more videos, I'm going to try, like I said, doing at least a video a day, if not a couple a week. Lots of Kingdom Hearts ones coming up. Kingdom Hearts potentially podcast series coming up for the anniversary. Game Awards next week, so if you are curious to watch any of those things, you can hang around the channel, do whatever you want to do. If you enjoyed the video, let me know what you think about Jak and Daxter. Like I said, the trilogy is very dear to me. It's very important to me. I think it's the strongest trilogy out of the mascot platformers. Love Sly 2. Love Ratchet 3. Maybe I like those individual games more than most of the Jak and Daxters, but the trilogy as a whole is really fantastic. So, Jak and Daxter, you're still loved. Gone but not forgotten. And if you show up at the Game Awards, I will weep openly on camera again. Yeah, again.